I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make one of my very favorite sandwiches, and that is a Cuban sandwich. It is made with a roast pork loin, ham, dill pickle, and cheese. Typically a Swiss cheese, but I like Havarti, so I've chosen that instead, and some spicy brown mustard. First I want to show you guys how to actually do a pork loin. I have a partial one here. I'm going to pull it out of the bag and put it in my little Le Creuset pan here. And I'm going to go ahead and just work with it directly in the pan. It'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to actually insert some slits. And now I'm going to take some whole garlic cloves. Actually, I think I probably, yeah, there we go. We broke one apart. And you want to stuff the garlic cloves into those slits that you've just made. And if your slit's not big enough, don't worry about it. Just keep stuffing. And if you've cut more garlic than you have slits, that's okay. We'll actually put the garlic in the bottom of the pan. And then we want to do a little bit of olive oil. And we want to do some salt and pepper, pretty aggressively on the salt and pepper. Always recommend a coarse ground pepper and salt. Turned it over, do a little pepper there. And then I'm going to actually cover this in about, depends on how big your pork loin is, but I'm probably going to use about a cup or so of chicken stock. And now we're going to put it in the oven for about, it's probably going to take about a half an hour, 45 minutes. You want it to get up to about 145 degrees. But I want to show you a little tip here. The Le Creuset line, they absolutely are great for putting in the oven, but your older versions particularly have the plastic lids. And Le Creuset does not want you to put those in an oven more than 350 degrees. So I actually, when it comes time for this, I actually will take the lid off and set it aside. I don't want this to melt. And of course, on camera here, it's going to be a longer screw than I was thinking. There we go. I then will put the lid back on my pot, drop that screw actually right back in the top, and now my lid is protected, the grip. We're going to go into the oven for about 45 minutes or so at 400 degrees, and it needs to come up to about 145 degrees. All right, so now our pork loin has been in the oven for about 45 minutes or so. It's come out nice and done. I'm ready to cut into it. That delicious garlic in the middle of it. I'm actually going to use my hand. I think it'll be a little bit easier. You just want to slice it down kind of thinly because you are going to be putting the sandwich together and it's going to have a lot of components to it. You can see those garlic cloves right into the middle there. I love that. So I'm going to put together two sandwiches here. All right, I think that's probably about enough. And what I have done here is I have some submarine or hoagie rolls, as they're known in some circles. We're going to open our bread. Get that out of the way. And now I'm going to put a little squirt of a spicy brown mustard on them. Whatever mustard you want to use is totally fine. I'm finding that with the dill pickle, you know, it's a little vinegary, so what can happen is if you were to use a Dijon mustard, it might be just a bit much on vinegar taste. You might not like that. All right, my mustard is at the end here. All right, so we're going to come back and spread that mustard out. Whatever mustard you want to use. This is one of my favorites to use on sandwiches just because I like spicy. And then we want to start with ham on the bottom of the sandwich. I like to go for cheese in between. And again, a standard Cuban sandwich does call for Swiss. If you like Swiss, that's great. I personally like Havarti. That's a little creamier. I'm going to do the same thing with the other sandwich. All right, and then we want to take a couple of dill pickle slices. I do kind of like to drain them a little bit on a paper towel so they don't make your sandwich so soggy. All right, we've got two more to do here. And then we have that delicious pork loin cooked with that garlic. Out of this world. That's a great way to do pork loin, even if you're not making Cuban sandwiches, by the way. if so desired, you could add another slice of cheese at this point. But you want to keep in mind you've got a fairly fat sandwich going on, and we're getting ready to put it on the panini maker. So you want to be able to close that. And sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. I do like to put a little olive oil or butter, if you wish, on the top to help with the browning process, and maybe even on the bottom of your panini maker. And this can get a little tricky, guys, so you have to know how to hold these lids. Let me see if I can do this without my sandwiches falling apart. If it's on the open. All right, if you use your finger at the front of the panini maker, you should be able to hold the sandwiches in place. I think I'm going to change the setting here. Oh, it's starting to slide, so I want to be careful there. There we go. I'm going to grab my towel here. Your panini maker will get hot, so I don't recommend putting your hand on top of that to push your sandwiches down. And it's going to take a couple of minutes. Your cheese is going to melt and the bread's going to get a little toasty. Oh, these look lovely. All right, and we're back. Our Cuban sandwiches have been pressing with the panini press. We're actually going to take them off of the grill, and we're going to cut them in half for service. And I find I like eating sandwiches cut in half. I have to ask for it every time I go to a restaurant, but my son, on the other hand, would eat a whole one of these without it having to be cut in half. So we're going to just cut right smack through the middle. Nice and crunchy, I hear. So we're going to platter our sandwiches. All right. And there you have it, one of my favorites, Cuban pressed sandwiches. I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. We hope you join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.